We are cooking pork now, and Hannah Miller-Childs, aka a lady butcher, is here to tell us all about a new gold standard for cooking New Zealand pork. She's on the line now. G'day, Hannah, how are you?
Hello, very well, thank you.
Just been Googling you in the wee ad break there. You've got quite the incredible past. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Cheers, yeah. So originally from the States, in case you can't tell from my accent. Been traveling the world as a chef, which led to me wanting to learn how to butcher, just so I could be a better chef and really make sure that I'm utilizing every bit of the animal when I'm cooking. About almost 7 years ago now, ended up in New Zealand working as a butcher, and then started my company, A Lady Butcher, about 5 years ago, where we primarily use New Zealand pork in charcuterie and dry-cured meats.
Whereabouts are you in New Zealand?
We're in Mount Eden, just on the city end of Dominion Road.
Okay, and you source and mainly use all of New Zealand meats?
Yeah, we use 100% New Zealand meats, and we work directly with the farmers. So we have complete traceability on where it's coming from, how it was raised, what it's been eating, which then affects how we cook it and prepare it for our guests.
And one of the reasons you became interested in food is to try and understand where the extra bits that weren't being, the offcuts, the byproducts of what you were eating, where they ended up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I found that there was quite a few things that, a lot of chefs were, and myself, we're using, the prime cuts, the steaks and the chops and that kind of thing, and not really using the lesser cuts, some of the cuts from the shoulder or the legs, or specifically the offal, the insides. And so I was quite keen to see, when there's a whole animal, like where do those bits go? And so now I practice whole carcass butchery, and we have a restaurant at our site on Dominion Road as well called Shirley's, and there we practice whole carcass butchery using everything from nose to tail, and writing the menu daily to reflect that.
Oh, amazing. In your career plan, when you looked at your plan and your life, did you ever expect to be living, working, marrying, in New Zealand, using New Zealand products?
No, no, definitely not. I originally came to New Zealand for 6 months, and I just never left. So yeah.
That's wonderful. And you now think that some of our meat is some of the best in the world?
Oh, absolutely. It really is one of the great joys in my life to be able to work with New Zealand meat, especially New Zealand pork. And one thing I've found here is just the practices for how meat is raised here is definitely, if not the highest, it's definitely amongst the highest levels in the world, from, growing up in the States and seeing how meat's produced there to seeing practices in Europe and Australia. Here, just the care that the farmers really give to their animals is really outstanding.
I personally cook pork one of two ways. Either I love a good roast pork with applesauce and a bit of crackling and some kumara and all that,
yeah.
The old traditional meat and 3 veg. Or I love the old slow pulled pork that I chuck in the slow cooker in the morning with some tomatoes and all sorts of yummy goodness, and then we pull it all apart and put it into bao buns in the evening. But that's about as far as I get with pork. I don't buy pork steaks. I don't know what to do with pork. So tell us about New Zealand pork and how you like to cook it and this new method.
Yeah, absolutely. So the new method is the 622, so very easy to remember. And what it is, it's about a quick and easy way to cook pork, have it on the table in 10 minutes, much like you would a beef steak. And the fact that it's actually okay to eat pork a bit pink. At our restaurant, Shirley's, we serve it medium. And I always ask, the table, like, are you okay with medium pork? And they're all like,
what?
Oh, medium?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I chuck it back in the pan when I see the red. Yeah.
Yeah, so a bit pink, some of those nice pink juices, it's all good. And so, for this method, we're champion the gold standard of cooking pork is, what you want is something about 2 centimeters thick. So you want a loin chop or a beautiful rump steak, actually, of pork is fantastic, or a cutlet. And you pop it in the pan, nice hot pan, a little bit of oil, some salt, and 6 minutes on one side. You can set the timer, so you don't have to be guessing. 6 minutes on one side, flip it over for 2 minutes. Go ahead, pop it out of the pan onto a plate, rest it for a further 2 minutes, and you're ready to go. A nice salad, and you can do the same thing on the barbecue as well. Nice hot barbecue, same method as a pan. So perfect for summer.
So the texture, should it feel firm on the outside but mushy on the inside? I mean,
yeah, it should just be tender. I mean, I would say, yeah, definitely. You should have that nice golden brown on the outside, or those nice grill marks like you would when you're cooking a medium or medium rare steak, beef steak. And then the inside should be just lightly pink and just really moist. My mom, love her, but she used to cook pork quite well, and so it was always kind of tough, and it really doesn't need to be. If you cook it, if you follow the 6-2-2 method, you really end up with a tender, juicy, just a little bit pink steak that's quite enjoyable.
Okay, that sounds divine. So ideally for that 6+2+2 method, we'd be looking for pork steaks, pork chops, and around about the 2 centimetre thick variety. I'm going to try that. I like pork with a bit of topping, with a bit of apple or something. Would you put a salsa on top of your pork steaks, or?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like right now, a pineapple sort of tomato salsa. You could even do a watermelon sort of salsa if you want to really freshen things up. A little bit of rice on the side, and just a really easy meal for that everyone can enjoy.
Pork belly, do you cook it, and how do you do it?
I do, yeah. So I do pork belly low and slow, and I also, similar to like a roast, where I'm going to make sure you get that really nice crackling. So I tend to go in, I like to go high heat first, so preheat the oven almost as hot as it will go, pretty much.
So you've got got your meat sitting in a pan, lifted from the raised from the base of your pan.
Lifted, yep. So on a rack, pork belly, nice and flat. I let it dry overnight. So take it out of the the plastic, or take it home from the butcher, get it out of the paper, dry it off, salt it, make sure the skin's nice and scored, and then leave it in the fridge overnight without uncovered, so that it starts to dry. Just even a little bit extra. So when it goes into that hot oven, it just immediately crackles. So that high heat for 10 minutes, and then whack it way down, nice low heat, and let it cook for another 2.5 hours to make sure that belly is really nice and moist and tender, basically.
What's the deal with, some people talk about scoring the belly on the top and then pouring hot water over it.
Yeah, so that's just all about, again, trying to get that really nice crackling, trying to get that heat into it straight away. And so if you could do it boiling water, or making sure your oven is just super, super hot. But it's to get that immediate heat to kind of shock the skin, which makes it crackle quite a bit better. What you don't want to do is you don't want to have a gentle low heat
the whole way. And just be this soggy, fatty mess on the top. No, we want it crackling and delicious. So how can we trust the pork that we're buying? How do we know that it's, first of all, New Zealand, and it's, it's fit for purpose, and the animal's been looked after well, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, so you want to look for that New Zealand pork label. That's really important. And if it doesn't have one, and you're like, oh, I don't know, I feel like this probably is from New Zealand, check the back, see where it came from. There should be origin labeling on there. And if there isn't anything, then it probably isn't from New Zealand. And with that, it's just, we want to know our farmers. We want to know that, we're putting money back into our own economy and really supporting our local farming community. And also, again, just really supporting their farming practices and that time and effort that they're putting into it. And then if you want to, so there's New Zealand pork first and foremost, very important. And then if you want to go up from there, you can look for the Freedom Farm stickers or the free range stickers. And then, that then also can say sort of how it was raised. It was raised in New Zealand, and then, how free was it during its life. And with that, what I always tell people is, as long as you're buying New Zealand first, that's the most important thing. And then after that, it depends on what your budget allows. And so go from there and make your own choices.
What can you tell us about pork farmers? What are they like? What do you enjoy? About a good Kiwi pork farmer, the ones that you deal with.
Yeah, they're great. They all have just amazing personalities, and the thing that I love about all of our pork farmers we deal with is how much they love their pigs. It's really evident, just how much they care for them and, their personalities, especially the sows, the breeding sows, like they've had them for a long time and, a few years, and they develop their own quirks, and they'll tell you stories about this one or that one. And, that one really likes to eat leftover croissants, or that one only likes pumpkin, things like that. And just, it's really cool. It's really amazing to see, the pride they take in what they're doing, and really producing quality meat for New Zealand. It's really cool.
Brilliant to chat to you today. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise. Are you cooking this weekend?
Absolutely. Yep. We barbecuing all weekend, and I've got a pork shoulder going on low and slow, and then heaps of chops for the 622 method.
Oh, love it. Thanks very much for your time today. That's Hannah Miller-Childs, a.k.a. A Lady Butcher. She is the Lady Butcher from A Lady Butcher. Lovely to have your company on the program this morning. Just gone 15 minutes away from midday.